Kirkistown is a whole new ball game for the competitors in the Irish Opel Lotus Championship. The series only comes north twice a year, so testing mileage is low for the majority of competitors in the 19-lap Opel Parts race.
Well, the situation at the top of the Opel Lotus Championship couldn't be closer. In fact, because these two men are exactly tied in points at the top. But Mike, it looks like you had the slight advantage this morning in practice.
Well, as far as we know so far, the official times haven't been printed yet, Plum, but it looks quite good at the minute. From what we can see from other people's boards, it all went very well for us as well, so I can't complain.
You were struggling a bit at the beginning of the year, but your season seems to be coming together very well now.
Yeah, well, we've worked very hard on the car all year. We've done a lot of testing, tried different things. Cliff and myself have worked very hard at it, and we're reaping the rewards from it now.
Now, I suppose, Vivion, sadly to say, it's been the other way around with you a bit.
Yeah, we started very strong. I think I won the first 3 races, and then we got a bit lost, and we're struggling ever since, really.
How are you doing this morning?
Not very well. I think probably around 5th or 6th. The exhaust broke on the first lap, which didn't help. There would be a certain loss of power, so we really struggled through time practice.
But it's a long race out there. It's a very fast circuit. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's 19 laps, and as you say, it is a very fast circuit, and it's not over till it's over.
Wayne Douglas, you really like this circuit?
Yes, it's a lot faster for me. It's more like go-karting because it's so wide and you can really pass it this compared to Mandela.
Well, we're waiting for it to be confirmed, but it looks like you're on the front row of the grid for the second time this year here.
Yes, again, it's myself and Mike who are right up there. It seems to be the Mandela people just don't get the time to test up here, and they just don't have it sorted as well. The chassis setup is very crucial around this circuit.
David Wright, on your home circuit and a very good time in practice.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We have a few small problems, but hopefully we'll iron them out in the paddock here before the race. Just hope everything goes all right after that, you know.
So you have plenty of experience here, that's for sure.
I think that's my problem. Just not finding the time that I did the last time. I missed the 2 test days that were here before today, and maybe that was a mistake on my own behalf.
Eno Flaherty was unfortunate to be on the back row of the grid after being penalised for refuelling during qualifying, takes us out onto the grid as the 12 identical 140 horsepower single-seaters line up for the start.
Poleman Michael Edgar was the pre-season favourite after a strong showing in this category in England last year. But the season started badly.
So close together. But there go the 2 leaders now onto the 6th lap. The yellow flag is being raised.
The best he could salvage from this saturated Mondello meeting in May was 5th place. In June, it was a very different story. He performed this brilliant manoeuvre, going round the outside of PJ Fallon to take his first victory of the year. And he would follow that with 2 further Mondello wins. This has taken him right to the top of the points table to become joint leader as the Opel Lotus Circus comes back to his home circuit in Kirkistown. Vivion Daly, on the other hand, mastered the early wet conditions to take wins at the first 2 Mondello meetings. Despite controversy in this race, when he was initially penalised for having a defective rear light, the penalty was eventually lifted, and he went on to take a further win at the Naas circuit. Now both drivers start at Kirkistown with 86 points.
Michael Edgar on pole position and young Wayne Douglas beside him, and a good start from Edgar is all important here as the lights change from red to green, and a very bad start from Douglas there, and actually nearly been touched by Vivion Daly. He's been dropped right down, and that's O'Flaherty coming up from the back row, almost touching his teammate Paul Monaghan. But up front, a superb start from young Michael Edgar. Thompson in 2nd place, McGarrity in 3rd. That's Monaghan there going through, and Wayne Douglas trying to scramble himself back up through the grid, and that should make interesting driving.
And also well back there, the other championship contender, Vivion Daly, who's back in, 5th place at the moment. But up front, there's no doubt it's Edgar, and then once again Thompson, a brilliant start. We're with O'Flaherty as he comes out of the chicane, but the car is dying. What a tragedy for the Dubliner.
Yes, and just look at the amount of places, about 6 cars going by there, and as they stream off in the distance, a little bit of smoke from the braking, but look, Thompson now looking at the inside with McGarty leaving his braking very, very late indeed, and this is all to Michael Edgar's advantage. McGarty again back on the inside, and you can see Vivion Daly there on the outside and looking to get by David Wright, but the two side by side, McGarty having the advantage here, because the next one is a right-hander. He just nips into the braking area. My Edgar at the moment through Colonial 1, through Colonial 2. That's Douglas out on the outside there, trying to get back all the ground he lost up, and get back to ground he is. But meanwhile, Edgar just pulling that car length every lap. But the battle now is McGarty, Thompson, David Wright and Vivion Daly, with young Wayne Douglas on his tail.
Right there, and you can see Vivion Daly and Douglas, the two white cars, really having quite a considerable battle as the tail-enders stream through the chicane. Back with the leader as he comes down this very fast straight into the hairpin. And Michael Edgar, this is exactly what he wanted. He needs these points for the championship. McGarity still in second place. Sam Thompson trying to salvage something out of a dreadful year back there in fourth place. But they were absolutely side by side when we last see them. We'll see them streaming through picture now. And indeed, it is David Wright up ahead of Sam Thompson now. Sam Thompson in the red car on the right of your screen.
Yes, David Wright, and look, down the inside goes Vivion Daly, and look at the swinging. Douglas just nips around the outside. The young contender just driving around the outside of last year's championship contender, and that's superb driving from young Wayne Douglas. So he's moved up a place, so we still see the battle. That's McGarity in second place, then it's Wright in the other blue car, then Thompson, and a sideways Douglas leading Vivion Daly.
So the two Cliff Dempsey run cars out front at the moment. There in the second place, just going through there, is Alan McGarty, and what a poignant moment it is for him. Of course, the great Patsy McGarty was lost to us last week, the 5 times former Atlantic champion. So Alan out there to keep that McGarty name very much alive. And look at Douglas.
Douglas has already got by Thompson, and he's thinking about David Wright's third place, but Thompson hasn't given up, having a look at the inside, having a look at the outside. It is very hard to realise that this young lad is really only in his second year of serious motor racing. He did Formula Ford last year, and then his father, Richard, who's a great enthusiast, decided to put him really in at the deep end. He's put this car on pole position here at Kirkistown, and now he is fighting for third place after one of the most horrendous starts I've seen at this circuit.
And Douglas certainly one of the most exciting drivers to watch in this category. His car control is magnificent. He throws it all over the place. He's having a go down the inside, but Wright legitimately blocks that move.
Yes, David Wright, the experience.
And that was Daly, I think we saw very briefly. We'll see it in replay now, spinning off. Vivion Daly has lost it, so the joint championship leader is in big trouble.
Yes, Vivion coming down the inside there at the hairpin, obviously locked the wheel, or maybe Sam didn't give him enough room to get through, but unless he gets it together, PJ blowing up the dust there. He's battling with Paul Monaghan. That battle is actually for 7th place. But here we are back with the battle for third place, and look at Douglas again, looking at the inside, looking at the outside as they come into the chicane. David Wright, a lot of experience under his belt. That's our leader, Michael Edgar. That's our second place man, and this is the battle for third place, and look at Douglas go.
So we've skipped ahead now to lap 14, and the battle, and there, I'm afraid, is the end of Vivion Daly's day today. He's just crawling back, obviously some mechanical bother. Still this battle between Monaghan and PJ Fallon wages. Great entertainment. It's for 7th place, but it could be for first, the way they're driving.
Yes, both of them taking those defensive lines, Monaghan using all the circuit. And here we are on our last lap as we see Michael Edgar come into the chicane for the last time. He'll be happy it's the last lap, because look at the distance, and already Wright beginning to move in on second place man. So Edgar at the moment, just a hairpin to get through to get that all-important 20 points. He won't know that the main man, the opposition, Vivion Daly, but who's going to be second? David Wright not giving up yet, and Wayne Douglas not giving up, and McGarity looks as if he can hold it. Edgar wins it from a battle between McGarity, David Wright and young Wayne Douglas. The battle for 7th place between the Monarch car and the Golden Pages car. Which one will it be? PJ using the outside line, trying to dive down with the slipstream, but young Monaghan has held that inside line now, and it's a 7th place for Monaghan and PJ in 8th.
So Michael Edgar takes his 4th win of the year and 20 points in the championship. It's been a miserable day for Daly. David Wright and Alan McGarty share third place and Wayne Douglas maintains his position. Martin Donnelly was present to watch. Martin Donnelly, you're very involved in this class in England, running your own team now, but you've just watched an Irish round. It's been good stuff.
It's been very, very competitive. I mean, the boys here, I mean, obviously, they've raced here for quite a few years. The cars are as well prepared here as they are in England. It's very competitive no matter where you race. And, you know, they've shown a very good level of professionalism. And I think it'd be great to see some of these guys come across later in the year and compete in some of the English races.
And Dino Morelli, I believe now, beginning to go really quickly.
Yes, Dino, I think, has started to realise that there's nothing overly trick about these cars. He felt that a lot of teams were doing a few dodgy moves in the cars. He's now accepted that they're not. He's starting to listen, and his last 3 or 4 outings in the car have proved that, you know, he'll be a winner by the end of the year.
Michael, it's really coming good at this part of the season for you.
Yes, can't believe it at the minute. I really am delighted. Everything went exactly as I would have hoped today. I couldn't have had a better race, and got a good gap, a good start, and it was just all followed in after that.
Alan, it's particularly poignant that McGarity should be on the rostrum here today, as I know your father passed away this week.
Yeah, pity. I'd like to have won it, but I had a wee bit of hard work after practice this morning with a bit of difficulties in practice, but seconds as good as I could have expected. Michael's just quicker man on the day, I'm afraid.